This video is to complete the study guide for section R5, which is factoring polynomials. Factoring is the reverse process of multiplying. So normally when we multiply and put two polynomials together by multiplying, this is breaking it back apart. It's basically figuring out what divides evenly into the polynomial. So there are about 4 or 5 different types of factoring we're going to learn. The first one is GCF factoring. GCF factoring is factoring using the greatest common factor of the terms of the polynomial. So the first thing you do is you find the greatest common factor of all the numerical coefficients. For example, down here in example 1, you try to figure out what divides evenly into 6, 9, and 15. In this case, it's going to be 3. Then you find the GCF of the variable factors. You look at the variable parts of each term and figure out how many of those variables could I divide out of every term. So in this case, since they don't all have x's, I can't divide an x out, and there's no other variable. The third step, factor out the product of the GCFs that are found in steps 1 and 2 as the GCF of the terms of the polynomial. So I'm going to do some examples here, and hopefully that will make the steps clear. But just keep in mind, we're going to do the GCF of the numerical, GCF of the variable, factor those out, and then rewrite the expression. On A, sorry about that, had a little glitch. Alright, on example 1, on A, when I look at the numerical, I can see that I can divide 3 out. So 3 is going to be the numerical factor. Then I look to see if I can divide a variable out of all of them, and I can't, and so I won't. So the greatest common factor of this polynomial is going to be 3. And now what I do is I divide each of these by 3. Now I could out to the side write down like 6x squared divided by 3, and 9 divided by 3, and 15x divided by 3. But I'm hoping you can do these things in your head. If you have 6x squared and you divide by 3, you're going to have 2x squared. If you have 9 and you divide by 3, we have positive 3. And then 15x divided by 3 is 5x. If you wanted to check your answer, you could do 3 times each of these terms, and you'd find that you'd be right back to the original polynomial. So that's what factoring is. It's just breaking it apart into what will multiply together to give you that. Okay, let's do the next example. Change colors here. First we do the numerical. What can I divide out of 8 and out of 2? Well, the answer to that is 2. And now look at the variables. What is the largest power or degree of a's that I can divide out of both of these? It's going to be a to the third. Once again, if you want to come to the side and show that you're dividing each one of these, that way you can kind of in your head keep straight what we're doing. It'd make for a good visual. You don't have to do this step. If you can divide 2a to the third into these mentally, that's fine. 8a to the fourth divided by 2a to the third is going to be 4. And then remember our rule for dividing the same base is to subtract the exponents, a to the first. When you divide this one, we just end up with a -2 because 3 minus 3 is 0. There's no a's left. There. Oh my goodness. I could have divided. Here's the problem. I guess everybody makes mistakes at some point. I just made one. If you have -2a to the third and you divide by 2a to the third, you actually get -1. There we go. Now there's nothing else I can divide out of this. Alright, I'm going to speed up a little bit because YouTube will only let me post 10-minute videos, so I'm going to work a little faster. What can I divide out of both of these? 8. What can I divide out of both of them as far as x's? X to the third. That will get rid of this one and leave you with 2 here. Y to the second will divide out both. You can come to the side. And you can divide by 8x to the third, y to the second. To find out what goes in the parentheses. 64 divided by 8 is 8. X to the fifth divided by x to the third is going to be x to the second. The rule is subtract the exponents, alright? Y to the second divided by y to the second, it's just going to be 1. So I could put times 1, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to leave it as what it is. 8 divided by 8 is -1. X to the third will cancel. Y to the second divided by y to the second will cancel. So I end up with just -1. Okay, and there's not anything else that divides into both of them. Now we're going to do D. And when you look at the numbers, I don't see anything I can divide out of all 3 of those, so there's no number, but there are x's. The largest number of x's I could take out everything is just x to the first, because this one only has x to the first. Y's, I could take a y squared out of everything. And I'm going to demonstrate here how to do it without actually writing it all out like we were talking about. If I divide x, y to the second out of this, I still have a -9. X divided into x to the fourth is going to leave me x to the third. Remember the rule for dividing the same base is subtract the exponents. Y to the second divided by y to the second cancels. So I won't have the y to the seconds. Plus 5 x to the second divided by x to the first is going to be x to the first. Y to the second divided by y to the second cancels. Plus, there is 7 divided by 1 is 7. X to the first divided by x to the first will cancel. Y to the second divided by y to the second is going to cancel. There's the answer. Okay. Now, the next couple look a little bit different, but what you need to recognize is what does each term have. It's kind of obvious because it's in parentheses. They both have an x plus 4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide out an x plus 4. And when I divide x plus 4 out of both of these, I'm left with a 3 plus 5b. It might be a good time to actually demonstrate, if you were dividing by the common denominator. I say common denominator. By the greatest common factor, which was x plus 4. This will cancel with this. This cancels with this. It leaves you with 3 plus 5b. That's why I have that in the parentheses. Okay. Quickly, before my time runs out, I will go ahead and work this last one. If you look to see what you can divide out both of these terms, it's obvious again, it's a to the third plus 2y. So you write down a to the third plus 2y. And when I divide a to the third plus 2y out of the two terms, I'm left with 8b on this one. And on this one, it's -1. There. So that's how you do GCF factoring. The next videos will have to do with trinomial factoring and also with factoring by grouping. And the factoring by grouping is going to relate to what we did in E and F.